I just found out after my father passed away at his will reading that I am going to be the only one to inherit everything. I also found out the same day he's not my biological father, and you're probably wondering, well, how the heck did I figure that out? It's because his second family shows up at the funeral, and you won't believe what they have to say, and yeah, my mom is a wreck. My father passed away 2 weeks ago. Massive heart attack right at his desk. Face planted right into this morning oatmeal. The paramedic said he was probably gone before he hit the bowl. I keep thinking about it, passing away with your face in Quaker oats. What a way to go. Vernon Kowski, 67 years of age, loving father, devout husband, senior accounts manager at an industrial supply spot, and apparently a complete fraud. The funeral was supposed to be small. Dad did not have many friends, just work people and some guys from his bowling league. Mom wanted it simple. She's been having these episodes lately where she forgets things and gets confused. The doctor says it's just stress, but I don't know. She kept asking me why we were at church, why everybody was wearing black, and I had to keep reminding her that father was gone. And watching her face crumble every time was like, it was like hurting him again and again. I was standing by the casket accepting condolences from Dad's boss, who kept talking about quarterly reports even at a funeral, because some people just can't turn it off. When I saw her, this woman, maybe mid-40s, perfect suburban mother, haircut, wearing a black dress that probably cost more than our rent. She has 3 kids with her, 2 girls and a boy, all dressed like they stepped out of a Nordstrom catalog. She walked right up to the casket like she belonged there. She put her hand on father's chest and started to cry, these perfect silent tears, and then she looked at me and said, "You must be Margot." I don't even know how she knew my name. I mean, obviously I know now, but in that moment, standing there in my Ross dress for less funeral outfit that I'd safety pinned in the back because it did not fit right, I just stared at her like she had spoken in tongues. "I'm Celeste, but you can call me C. These are Vernon's children, Kellen, Sophia, and Jade." Vernon's children? The boy Kellen, he had Dad's nose, the weird bump from when he broke it playing softball in the 80s, same crooked front teeth, same way of standing with his weight on his left foot. It was like looking at my brother Dmitri if Dmitri had gone to private school and played lacrosse instead of working at Jiffy Lube. "I'm sorry," I said, because what else do you say when someone shows up at your father's funeral claiming to be a secret family? I said I think there's been a mistake. But C just smiled this sad knowing smile and pulled out her phone. Started showing me photos, Dad at a birthday party, blue frosting on his nose, Dad teaching someone to ride a bike in front of a house that sure as hell wasn't our trailer, and Dad at Disney World, Disney World, wearing mouse ears and grinning like I've never seen him grin in my entire life. 23 years, she said. We were together 23 years. My brain stopped working, like when your computer freezes and you can hear the fan going crazy but nothing's happening on the screen. 23 years. I'm 33, that means, well, every business trip, she continued, scrolling through her phone, every conference, every client meeting in Minneapolis, he was with us. We have a house in Clearwater Heights. He helped Kellen with his college essays and taught Sophia to drive. He was at every dance recital and every soccer game. Dance recitals? Soccer games? Dad missed my high school graduation because of a client emergency and missed Dimitri's wedding because of a conference in Dallas and missed my sister Anya's rehab family day because of a quarterly inventory. I looked at Mom sitting in the front row clutching her purse like someone might steal it. She was staring at C with this expression I've never seen before, not surprise, not even anger, just resignation, like she had been waiting for this moment for decades. Mom? Mom, what is she talking about? But Mom just looked at her hands, would not meet my eyes at all. C was still talking, something about how they met, how he helped her through her divorce, how he's been such a wonderful father. But all I could hear was this ringing in my ears, like after a concert when your hearing's all messed up. The funeral director was trying to usher her away. I guess secret families are not great for business, but she planted herself like a tree. I have every right to be here. We were married, look. Marriage certificate, state of Minnesota, Vernon James Kowski and C. Mary Brennan, May 15, 2001. 3 years after he married my mom, or should I say remarried? I don't even know. The kids were crying now. The girls, Sophia and Jade, they had mom's chin. They had my chin. Same dimple on the left side, same way of tilting their heads when confused. It was like looking into a funhouse mirror, seeing yourself reflected back all wrong. Younger, prettier, more expensive versions of me and Anya. This is illegal, I said. Stupid thing to say, but my brain was grasping for air. You can't be married to two people. Different states, he said, like she was explaining a recipe substitution. Different documentation. Vernon was very careful to not get caught. Very careful. That's what you call decades of deceit. Being very careful. I wanted to scream. I wanted to flip the casket and Dad's embalmment body rolling down the aisle like a grotesque bowling ball. I wanted to grab this woman with her perfect children and perfect hair and shake her until she admitted that this was some sort of sick joke. Instead, I just threw up. Right there in the funeral home in front of God and everyone. Splattered all over the guest book. Someone's gonna sign their condolences and see bits of my gas station burrito. Sorry, Aunt Helen. The funeral director finally got C to leave, but not before she pressed a business card into my hand. We need to talk. About the estate, about everything. I know this is a shock, but we're family now. Vernon would want us to handle this together. Family? I don't remember the rest of the service. Father, Kay, said some crap about eternal rest and his new plan, and people hugged me and murmured condolences. I kept staring at those kids as they filed out. My siblings, half-siblings, step-siblings, what do you even call the children your father had with his secret wife while he was pretending to sell industrial cleaning supplies? Mom and I drove home in silence. The trailer felt smaller than ever, like the walls were closing in. 23 years of marriage, real marriage, and this was what we had to show for it. Wood paneling from the 70s, a kitchen table that wobbled unless you stuck a folded napkin under one leg, a washing machine that sounded like it was digesting gravel. You knew. It was what I said to my mom. It wasn't a question. Mom sat down heavy at the kitchen table and she lit a cigarette, even though she supposedly quit 5 years ago, and she said, yeah, I knew. So I say, how long? Oh, since 2003, Sophia was a baby. He left his other wallet in the jacket and he had pictures. Other wallet? Of course, Vernon Kowski. Very careful of him. And you just what? You just let him? Mom laughed and she let out a laughter. This bitter, broken sound that made my chest hurt, and she said, let him? Margot, honey, what was I supposed to do? I have 3 kids, no education, no job, no family except his mom. And you know what that lady's like. She was right. Grandma Kowski had been a special kind of evil, the kind who smiled while she twisted the knife. He paid me. That's what Mother said. Ashed her cigarette directly onto the table, because who gives a hell anymore? $50,000 a year cash to keep quiet, to keep playing happy family when he was home. $50,000. I thought about all the times we could not afford things. New shoes, school supplies, food that was generic brand. Anya's rehab. The good place, not the state-funded nightmare that she went to. That we could not swing, and all while Dad was apparently buying some other family a $900,000 house. So I said, how? How did he afford it, any of it? Life insurance policies, investments, that woman, she came from money. Her father owned half of Clearwater Heights before he died, and Vernon was nothing when she met him. She made him into something. Made him into something? What were we then? Chopped liver? I spent the next 3 days in bed. I couldn't eat, I couldn't sleep. Just laid there staring at the water stain on my ceiling that looked like a duck. Or maybe a hand giving the finger. It depends on the light. Dmitri came by and brought his kids. They ran around the trailer like feral cats, knocking crap over and screaming about YouTube videos. Normal kid stuff that felt absolutely insane given the circumstances. How could anything be normal ever again? Maybe it's not true, he said. We were sitting on the front step sharing a bottle of wild turkey he's lifted from the funeral reception. Maybe she's just some crazy person. You know, Dad, he was friendly. Maybe he helped her out once and she built this whole fantasy. But even as he had said it, I could see him doing the math. All these missed birthdays, all those business trips, the way Dad always had 2 phones, one for work, he said, and the way he would sometimes slip and mention things that we've never done, places we've never been, and remembering the time at the lake. No, Dad, we don't, because you're thinking of your other family. Anya showed up on day 4, fresh out of rehab attempt number 6, and I will say, she looked pretty good. Clear eyes, some weight back on her bones finally, but when I told her about C, about the children and everything, she just nodded like she was expecting it. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I knew something was messed up, she said. We were in my room, passing around a cigarette. Well, 'cause why not? And honestly, who was I to judge anyone's coping mechanisms at this point? Remember when I was like 15 and found that credit card statement? The one for the Visa Dad swore he didn't have? I remember she brought it to me, confused. Charges for stores we didn't have in our town. Restaurant bills for places we've never been. Dad had said it was fraud, that someone had stolen his identity, made a big show of calling the credit card company up, filing reports, and we believed him because why wouldn't we? He was Dad. Dads don't lie about things like that, except they do. They lie about everything. We should contest the will, Dmitri said when we were all together, drowning our feelings in cheap vodka and stale Doritos. Forget that woman and her children. Dad's money should go to us. We're the real family. But were we? Were we really? I mean, what makes a family real? Time spent, love given, or just who got there first? I didn't tell them about the life insurance, the $4.2 million policy I found in Dad's desk when I was looking for his social security card, the one that named only me as the beneficiary, not Mom, not Dmitri or Anya, not C or her perfect little children, just me. Why me? The business card C had given my burned in my pocket for a week before I finally called. We met at a Panera Bread because apparently that's when you, know you're going to discuss your father's secret life. Of course you're going to do it over soup. Somewhere with Wi-Fi and overpriced soup. She looked older in the daylight. Tired. The kind of tired that comes from pretending everything is fine when your whole world is falling apart. I knew that tired. I was wearing it like a second skin. She said I loved him. I need you to know that. This wasn't some arrangement. We truly loved each other. He loved us too, I said. Automatic, defensive, but did he? Can you love 2 families equal? Can you split yourself down the middle like that and have enough left for everybody? I didn't know about you, she said. Not at first. By the time I found out Kellen was 5 and Sophia was 3, I was pregnant with Jade. What was I supposed to do? The same thing Mom had said. What was I supposed to do? Like there was no other option but to live a lie. He told me you were from a previous relationship, that your mother was unstable, that he had to take care of all of you financially, but it wasn't safe for him to see you often. I believed him because I wanted to. Because the alternative was admitting that the man I loved, the father of my children, was a monster. Monster? Was that what he was? Or just a man who wanted too much and didn't know how to choose? The house, I said, the $900,000 home. My father bought it, left it to me when he died. Vernon just lived there and paid the taxes and fixed things when they broke and made it a home. But he didn't buy the $900,000 house. Made it a home? While our home was falling apart. Vinyl siding piecing, just falling off like dead skin. Foundations cracking and pipes that froze every winter because the insulation was crap. I want to contest the will. That's what she told me, and she pulled out papers, legal documents with impressive letterheads. My children deserve their father's legacy. They should not suffer because of his lie. Yeah, his lies. Like she wasn't complicit on it. Like she didn't benefit from 23 years of deception. And the life insurance. Her face changed and got hard. What life insurance? I could have lied, could have played dumb, but I was so tired of the lyings, I said the policy. $4.2 million and me being the sole beneficiary. She said that's impossible. Vernon didn't have. We would have known. But she was already pulling out her phone to call her lawyer. I could see that exact moment she realized it was true. The way her shoulders sagged and she thought she was defeated, and I said, well, why? And she whispered back, why you? Why only you? That's when Mom's words came back to me. The thing she said the night after the funeral, drunk on whiskey and grief of decades of humiliation. He always loved you the best. From the moment you were born, his perfect little girl. But I wasn't his perfect little girl. I wasn't his anything. I need to back up, need to explain about the DNA testing, because that's where this whole thing goes from Jerry Springer to some other show that hasn't been invented yet because regular TV cannot handle this crap. After C left Panera Bread, after we agreed to think about things and talk to our lawyers, and all the civilized crap people say when they want to scream, I went to one of those places, you know, the ones, big sign out front that says paternity testing results in 48 hours, confidential. Oh, I don't even know why I did it. Maybe because nothing makes sense anymore. Maybe because if Dad could lie about having another family, what else had he lied about? Maybe because C's kids look like us and I needed to know if we were really sisters or just victims of some cosmetic joke. The tech was this kid. Maybe 22 with gauges in his ears and a tattoo of DNA helixes on his forearm. He didn't even ask a question, just swabbed my cheek and took my credit card. $199 for basic sibling testing and $299 if I wanted to know paternity. Might as well. To hell with it. I paid for every penny, $299 I didn't have. You need samples from the potential relatives, he said. I can't test for a sibling without their DNA. Right, obviously, but I couldn't exactly ask these kids to spit in a tube. Hey, I know your father just passed away and you found out he had a secret family, but can I have some of your genetic material? Thanks, bye. So I did something crazy. Crazier than anything else in this whole messed up story, I went back to the funeral home. They still had Dad, waiting for cremation because we could not agree on what to do with him. C wanted him buried in Clearwater Heights and Mom wanted him scattered at the lake where they honeymooned. I wanted him shot into the sun, but hey, apparently that's not my option. The funeral director recognized me, why wouldn't he? I puked on his guest book, but he was nice about it and let me have a moment alone with Dad. One last goodbye, he probably thought. Closure, but he had no idea what I was up to. I stole his hair. Just reached into the casket and yanked a chunk from the back where it wouldn't show. Dad would have hated that. He was vain about his hair. Always used this expensive pomade that smelled like pine trees and a broken promise. Results came back exactly 48 hours later. I sat in my vehicle in the parking lot, hand shaking so bad I could barely open the email. Vernon Kowski, not my biological father. But he was the father of Kellen, Sophia, and Jade. Probability is 99%. I read it 6 times. 7 now. The words didn't change. And yeah, I wasn't his daughter. He had never, had me as a daughter. 33 years of calling him Dad, and it was just another lie. I drove to my mom's work because I wasn't going to wait for her to come home. She cleans offices at night and had for the past decade. I found her in some investment firm vacuuming, and the carpet must have cost more per square foot than our monthly food budget. Who's my father? She turned off the vacuum, sat down right there at the expensive carpet and said truly, I don't know. Bullcrap. I don't know. There were a few possibilities. Vernon knew. We've been trying for so long and nothing was happening, and I thought maybe it was me. Maybe I was broken. A few possibilities. My mother, who had spent my entire life lecturing me about virtue and reputation and keeping your legs closed, had done this. She's gotten around town and gotten pregnant by someone else. Who? Who were the possibilities? And she said to me, does it matter? They're all gone now, probably dead or moved away, might as well be. It matters to me. Well, she listed them. 3 names. One passed away in a car accident when I was 10. One moved to Alaska. Nobody's heard from him since. And one was serving life in prison for you know what? Offing his wife. Great options, Mom. Real winners. Vernon knew. I asked the whole time. She said he suspected it, but he loved you. Yeah, apparently loved. Like you were his own, more than his own maybe, that's why he stayed for you. Yeah, for me, he built an entire double life, lied to 2 families for over 2 decades because of me. Because I was the daughter he's chosen, even if I wasn't even the real daughter he's made. I left Mom there with her vacuum and her tears and her crappy revelations. Drove around for hours, no destination, just movement. Ended up at the lake where Mom said they honeymooned. It was nothing special, just water and trees and a dock that looked like it might collapse if you breathed on it wrong. I thought about Dad, about the man I thought I've known, the one who taught me to ride a bike in the Kmart parking lot, who held my hair when I got food poisoning from bad seafood, who walked me down the aisle at my wedding even though that marriage lasted as long as a fruit fly. Was any of it real? Or was I just another role that he played, a loving father to his fake daughter on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, loving father to his real children the rest of the week? My phone rang. It was C. She's calling me. We got the test results, she said. My children are biologically his. I know that. And she asked me, how do I know? I could hear her brain working, putting pieces together, and she says, you must have got tested too. Yeah, I'm not his. Silence, the kind that feels drowning. But he left you everything, she said. The life insurance, your name and his will. Why would he? Well, obviously, see, it's because he chose me. The words tasted bitter. I was the kid he picked, and you got the biology, I got the paperwork. She started crying these ugly, wrenching sobs that made me want to hang up and also crawl through the phone to hold her. We were both victims here, both of us fooled by a man who turned lying into an art form, and she said, what do we do now? I thought about it. I thought about the money, about the families, about the kids who lost their father and found out he was a fraud in the same week. About Mom, vacuuming offices to pay for a life built on deception, about Dmitri and Anya still thinking they knew who their father was. I just said I don't know, because I didn't. How do you split an estate between two families when one shouldn't even exist? How do you divide a legacy of lies? So we agreed to meet again and to talk to lawyers in person to figure out something fair. Whatever that meant, but I knew it would not matter. No amount of money could ever fix what Dad had done to us. No legal document could make this make any sense. So I went home. The trailer was dark and empty, and Mom was still at work, and Dmitri was with his kids. Anya was, well, God knows where. Hopefully not using, but probably because, well, that's what Anya does when things get hard. I sat at the kitchen table, the wobbly one with no napkin under it, stared at the business card until the number blurred. C. The woman my father loved enough to lie for, the woman who got the house and the life and the children who actually carried his DNA. But I got the money. The final, hell yeah, from beyond the grave. Or maybe the final I love you, with Dad who could tell the difference, and at that moment my phone rang. Text from an unknown number. This is Kellen. Mom gave me your number. I know this is weird, but could we talk? I just found out I have a sister, and I don't know what to say. A sister? Is that what I was supposed to be, huh? An accidental sister. The chosen one who doesn't, choose by blood, but by some twisted sense of obligation. I didn't even reply. I couldn't. Instead, I opened Dad's wallet. The one they've given me at the hospital with his personal effects. There was a photo in there, tucked behind his driver license, but it was not of us. Not of them either. Just him, very young, maybe early 20s, standing in front of a car I didn't recognize, smiling like he had his whole life ahead of him. Who was that man? Before the wives and the kids and the lies, before he became Vernon Kowski, master of deception, father of 6, husband of 2, beloved by none? I guess I'll never know. He took that with him into his bowl of oatmeal, into his casket, into whatever comes after. All I have a question for is bank account. Because mine now says 4.2 million, a lot heavier, and a family tree that looks like it was drawn by someone having a seizure. Mom came home around 3 a.m. and found me at the kitchen table, still staring at that same photo. She said, you know, he loved you. Whatever else was true, I know that is. How do you know? She pulled out an envelope from her purse, my name on it, Dad's handwriting. She said, he gave me this last year, said to give it to you if anything happened to him. I forgot about it until tonight, found it in my work locker. I opened it up, guys. It was a single sheet of paper. It was Dad's cramped handwriting. And it said this. Margot, if you're reading this, then you know. I'm sorry I was weak and selfish and I hurt everyone I claimed to love. But you were never a lie. You were the only thing I ever chose that was completely mine. The money is yours because you're the only one who ever saw me for what I really was. A coward, pretending to be brave, so take it and run. Be better than I was, love Dad. Or whatever you want to call me now. Guys, I laughed. It probably wasn't something I should have done, but I just started hysterically laughing. Because what else do you do? He knew I would find out, he knew I would take the test, and he knew it because he knew me, even if I'd never really known him. Mom asked me what am I going to do. So I folded up the letter, put it in my pocket next to C's business card, 2 pieces of paper that held my entire history in one pocket. I don't know. Do I take the money and run like Dad suggested, or do I share it with C's kids, the real Kowski children? Do I tell Dmitri and Anna that their sister isn't their sister, and that their father was a bigamist? That everything they thought they knew was built on a sand castle with no support? It's been 3 hours since I started typing this, and I'm sitting outside of a 7-Eleven, and the clerk has changed shifts twice. My phone has 47 missed calls, Dmitri, Anya, Celeste, Kellen, even a number I didn't recognize that might be Sophia or Jade, or some lawyer, who the hell knows? I'm supposed to meet with the insurance company tomorrow, sign papers, become a millionaire, build a life on the grave of my father's lies, but I can't really move right now. Can't answer the calls, can't do anything but sit here in this parking lot watching the sun come up of a world that doesn't make sense anymore. If you made it this far, thanks for reading. Sorry it's been so long. Sorry it doesn't have a point or a moral or a clean ending, because, well, my life doesn't really work like that, clearly. Sometimes you just wake up one day and find out your entire existence was built on someone else's lie, and all you can do is type it to strangers on the internet looking for advice. Anyways, that's my story. Do not expect an update, because to be honest with you, I'm leaning towards taking the money and running. I don't want to give it to their family. I don't even want to give any to my mom. I just want to disappear for good. Alright guys, today's story was pretty crazy and heartbreaking. There were so many comments. I'm not even going to read one because it's like 50-50. Some people are saying no. You cannot just take the money and run away, especially you can't cut off your mom. She needs you, and she's been working the same job for 10 years, barely making any money, and you can't just run away and abandon her with $4.2 million now. And there's also a lot of people saying, you know what? Your father, or whatever you want to call him, said that you deserve to have this money. Not your mom, not your fake family, and not the wife that he hid for 23 years. I want to know your opinion, guys. Do you think OP has to give the money away, or at least give some to her mom? Let me know in the comment section down below exactly what you would do. I love to hear your opinions on these things. I try to read every single comment, so drop one down below, hit that like button, and I'll see you in the next one. Do remember, it's cool to be kind. See ya.